Welcome to the Chef's Kitchen. I'm your host, Tina Marie, and today we are joined by Chef Terry Feury of Fork Restaurant in Philadelphia. Wonderful to have you here, Chef.
Thanks for having me. Well, this dish we're going to make is with shrimp. In this case, they're head-on Marvesta Shrimp. They come from Maryland. They're sustainably farm-raised indoors, basically in big tanks, and they're never frozen. They're just harvested directly to order, basically. So they're never treated with any chemicals, and they're never frozen. So the flavor is really impeccable.
Super fresh.
Yeah,
and
super
they're
fresh.
Marvesta shrimp, you said.
Marvesta is the name of the company that makes them, but they're basically a type of white shrimp. They're 16 to 20 per pound with the head on, so with the head off they would be like a 21-25. And we're going to have you clean them. All you do is get your fingernail underneath. Right. I don't know if you've ever done this before.
I have. Well, I've never done it in this state.
All right, so yeah, you just have to be careful to leave, because we want to leave the head on. So you just go around, all right? And then you just pull it straight down. And I don't leave that little tail on because it's a little difficult to eat. So I take the whole shell off in one piece.
So the shell off the body then?
Right. And then when we take the vein out, what I like to do, a little trick here, is I take a damp paper towel, all right, and I keep that next to me while I'm working. Yes. And you take the knife, and then we just make a gentle incision down, all the way down the back, all the way down to get that whole vein out. All right, we'll go all the way through, and then just hit the tip of the knife, able to scoop that whole thing out in one shot. Great. And then you just wipe your knife off nice and clean, and then you're ready for the next one. So excellent technique. We're going to have you try that. Great. Okay, very good. While you're working on that, I'll explain a little bit about the sauce we're serving with the shrimp. It's a Romesco sauce. It's a Spanish-style sauce, predominantly with almonds. Sometimes there's dried bread in there, or fried breadcrumbs or things like that. We'll talk about roasting peppers. For the home cooks, I mean, it's a little messier, but you can just char it up directly on your burner like this until it blackens all the way around. So for our tomatoes, we're going to use plum tomatoes, or basically the ripest tomato that you can find. And we just need to take out the little bit of core and cut this guy in half. So we'll keep turning the pepper, charring it up around there. And now we're going to take our tomato and just broil it to blister the skin. But basically get the idea here with the pepper, and then just take it and throw it into a bowl, let it steam, peel it, and this is what we have here. And we can start to assemble some the ingredients for our sauce. Sauce is pretty rustic, so we're going to just do a kind of a rough chop. A rough chop, but not too big. You could do the whole thing in the food processor once you had all your ingredients done, but I like to give it a little bit of texture. Roasted peppers. Yes. Chopped roasted pepper. Chopped roasted peppers. Almonds. Marcona almonds, which I toasted with a little bit of sea salt. We get the raw ones at the restaurant. You can buy them already toasted with salt on them. That's definitely the easiest thing to do. And these are going to get just nice rough chop like that. Do you have a favorite type of cuisine that you like to cook? This has a little bit of a Spanish flair, and of course you're known for your love of seafood. I think I lean towards Mediterranean flavors a lot. I mean, this is Spanish, and I like those flavors a lot. Have a look at our tomatoes, which are broiling nicely. Turn that off, and there we go. There we go. Nice skin peeled back. Let those cool, and like I said, you can keep them in some of the oil for a little while, just so nice and tender like that. But you get the idea. We're going to add a little bit more spice to this. So we can add a little bit of the chili. Absolutely. So the Dorot chili, we love these herbs. Flash frozen and at the ready in your freezer. We'll just pop one of those in there. Okay. And then all the other ingredients being nice and warm, that'll just dissolve in there real quickly. Perfect. So you can make it as spicy as you want to, or not really. Our shrimp are all clean and ready to go here. And we're just going to season these with kosher salt. You always cook with kosher salt? We'll use kosher salt and sea salt. When we're searing and things like that, we always use kosher salt. And so we have our shrimp going, and then we can lower the heat and let the shrimp finish off slowly. We're going to let them rest on our cutting board before we plate them. Is that important to do? Yeah, I always have a habit of, letting it, basically drying it off, or before we put it on the finished plate. All the cooking oils and stuff, we don't want them to run on our plate. All we're going to do is take our finished Romesco sauce and then just make a nice even line of it down the middle. We arrange the shrimp. A beautiful, dramatic presentation with the
Yes,
with the
with
heads.
the heads on and it's completely fresh. I can't wait to taste. That's delicious. There's absolutely no, fishiness at all. It's completely fresh.
Yeah.
It tastes like the sea. Just
If you take the head off and you can kind of mix some of the stuff in with your sauce and the shrimp, you get a great,
that's a good way of going about it too.
great flavor.
And I
there.
love the almonds. Delicious dish. Really, really good. Thank you so much for coming on our show and sharing your techniques with us and your wonderful talent.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
To see today's recipe and all of the recipes featured on the Chef's Kitchen, log on to chefskitchen.tv.